$100 trillion.
There you go.
And these come from detailed estimates, and the Wall Street being ruled by the Rockefeller Group, which is the North American contractor for the Rothschilds. So at a human level, there's a case to be made that the depopulation policy was first enunciated through the Bilderbergers. Then there's researchers, and this is where it gets extremely speculative, that claim that there's a layer behind this that goes to negative extraterrestrials, including negative reptilians that inhabit the fourth dimension. We're kind of in the third dimension here, but negative reptilian extraterrestrials that have manufactured one element of the small grays who have conducted the abductions here. Now, what I just said is very controversial.
Indeed.
And does not have clear evidence. There are some researchers like Dr. Stephen Greer who claims that no abductions are done by extraterrestrials. They are all done by secret intelligence units known as MILAB, military abductions.
Yes.
There are other researchers who claim that only a small portion of the abductions are done by MILABs, but the large portion are done by reptilians and grays. Now, we have very sketchy information on this. It is highly, highly controversial. You mentioned reptilians and grays. That's a subject which most people in the exopolitics area, research area, do not want to deal with.
Yeah.
I think that if the reptilians and grays are a factor and do exist, well, that is the essence of exopolitics. If in fact there's a race of extraterrestrials that has a negative intent toward
human beings.
Toward human beings. But at the very least, we can establish that the depopulation policy was enunciated at the early Bilderberger meetings.
And do you, if we talk a little bit more about, the reptilians and so forth, do you think that they might be suggested by some researchers that are in controls of these events that are playing out on the Earth, that they might be interested in, let's say, colonize Earth themselves? So they need to get rid of the humans on the surface levels, just as you talked about. Could that be the case here?
Yeah, that's a model which is put forth by researchers such as Laura Knight Jadzik in her book High Strangeness, and she maintains in that book, as do other researchers who have written books along the same vein, that there is a genetic experimentation going on in the abductions to create a new race of humans that and a depopulation of the current Homo sapiens in order to create a situation where the reptilian amphibians can coexist on Earth with that new race of humans, because
I mean, that's a frightening idea. Do you think it's true, or do you think it's valid?
I maintain a position of agnosticism here, but I really want to examine all of the evidence, because I'm not certain that the human hypothesis accounts for all of the evidence behind depopulation. And I'm not certain that all of the abduction evidence can be explained by military abductions, as Dr. Greer seems to think. But what the totality of the view is, I'm not certain. I should add that we appear to be in an ecology of dimensions here, such that there are upper dimensional ethical civilizations, extraterrestrial hyperdimensional civilizations, and even Laura Knight Jazik, in her book High Strangeness, maintains that the upper dimensionals are really helping us behind the scenes, and that so that we have strategic allies here.
And maybe you can talk a little bit more about this idea also, that the human beings are being changed or altered, or in some kind of genetic manipulation is going on, because I think that is true. That's what we're seeing actually right now. The question is then, what's the purpose of that? Is it to change or alter the human being, or is it simply to make it disappear, make it sick, so to speak? What do you think about that?
Yeah. Okay. So I think that there are a number of questions in your question, and that it's very important to make distinctions here so that people do not go away with a fear-based point of view.
Good point.
First of all, it is true that our basic DNA is being changed, and for the better. Right now, about 3% of our DNA is active, and the other 97% is considered junk, quote unquote, junk DNA.
Yes.
And there's good evidence. In fact, this was the subject of my presentation at the Exopolitics Summit in Spain. That at the center of our galaxy, science has now proven that there's a massive black hole, about 4 million times as dense as the sun, which rotates once every 11 minutes and which acts as basically a motor for our galaxy. At the material level, it creates the new suns and the new solar systems and the celestial material. At other levels, it is operating directly on our DNA, and what is occurring now, according to many researchers, is that the emanations from the galactic center, and this will be occurring in more frequency as we begin to reach the solar maximum, which will occur in 2012 to 2013, is that the emanations from the galactic center will actually be acting as a genetic enhancer.
Really?
To active, yes. So in order to expand our ability as humans to interact with the rest of intelligent civilizations. Now, this is concurrent to any plan that the forces of the permanent war economy may have in terms of the genetic program that we talked about, or in terms of a depopulation program. And so it's because we have an information war going on now.